This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with Multiview, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
School is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year. We've got everything from cleats to Sambas, dunks, and more. Plus, the hottest looks from Nike, Jordan, and Adidas. Find your first day fits in-store or online at dicks.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 502 of Rams Up. And, right out of the gate here, I got to talk about this event at the joint practice between the Rams and the Cowboys. Albert Huggins of the Cowboys losing his cool and giving a Rams intern a pretty decent shove, knocking him backwards onto the ground. And, hey, I get it. Classless move, really bad look. However, he does not need to be prosecuted. He does not need to spend 2 years in prison. He does not need to be arrested. Sit him down, maybe send him home for a couple of days and let it go. It looks like the Cowboys coaches and the Rams coaches dealt with it appropriately. Let's move on. How can Ram fans be overly upset about that after what happened with Aaron Donald with the Bengals? Remember that. People lose their cool and do stupid things. Don't overreact to it. Get through some news and notes before I get to the focus of this episode. As shared on the YouTube channel, I'm going to talk about my roster locks again. Now, this is a different presentation than what was shared on the channel. The results are the same, but a different presentation. Get through some notes first. Deshaun Johnson in a boot at these joint practices, and that may be why the Rams signed defensive lineman Carlos Watkins, a 4th-round pick of the Texans in 2017 out of Clemson. He had 10.5 sacks in his last season with Clemson, so he's drafted by the Texans, plays for the Cowboys, then on to the Cardinals, who had big plans for him last year, but he tore his bicep in week 2. 6'3", 305 pounds, and Tyler Davis has been playing well, really promising, but I think this is a good move, a low-cost, low-risk move. Get a big guy in the center to help this defense out, give them some much needed depth. That's the one position, especially against the run, that I'm most concerned about. Tavon Austin retires. I love that guy. Someone called him a 1st-round bust. I get it. I understand. He did not live up to his 1st-round billing, but he was so close to be one of the best punt returners in the league. His unit just did not help him out. Penalty after penalty on his returns. And yeah, I guess technically you can call him a bust, but I'm not going to do that. Love Tavon Austin. Enjoy retirement. J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings rookie quarterback, had been looking really good in camp apparently, but out for the year. And the Vikings are asking about Derek Carr. That is interesting. Reports on that joint practice, the second joint practice with the Cowboys. Offense good, defense not bad either. Rams offensive line was opening holes for Corum and Kyren Williams. So that's good to see. Matthew Stafford left early, tightness in his hamstring, and the defense had a pretty good day too. Jared Verse and Byron Young getting after it once again. There was a scare, Verse getting taken down. Looked like he might have hurt his shoulder, but all seems to be okay. So let's get back to my roster locks. Haven't done this in quite a while. And the way I do this is if I add a player to the roster lock list, I cannot remove them. That would be pretty petty. They're locks because at the time I put them on this list, I'm betting everything, betting my left pinky anyways, that they will be on this final roster. And you know what? The way things are going, I think I might be losing my left pinky because there's a couple of guys I'm having second thoughts about. One of them is quarterback. Now we have Stafford and Bennett. I've had both of them there for a while. No Jimmy G because he is suspended. And you have to wonder if the Rams are going to roll with Stetson Bennett weeks 1 and 2. Could they make a move? The problem is, man, you let him go and try to get him on the practice squad. That could be really devastating if someone picks him up, an NFC rival, or dare I say, an NFC West rival. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good move. Rams have a bit of a dilemma facing them. Maybe Bennett steps up in these last 2 preseason games and proves he is a viable backup for weeks 1 and 2. And what happens when Jimmy G comes back? We'll talk about that at the end here. Running backs, I had Williams, Corum, and Rivers here. I'm adding Boston Scott, and that's more about Zach Evans. Wanted to see more of him. That's one of the things I've been begging to see. And we see a little bit of him, and what we do see isn't that promising. He did look really good on that one reception, though. He looked very fast with the ball in his hands. Wide receiver, same 5 guys, Kupp, Nacua, Robinson, Whittington, and Atwell. That's right, I've had Whittington on here for a while. Felt pretty strongly about that. Atwell's the one I'm having second guesses about. I don't know, man. As Paul Walia said, you're a wide receiver on this team, but you're returning kicks. That means you might not actually be a wide receiver, at least not a wide receiver in their plans. And you got 2 guys that are legitimate NFL receivers, Xavier Smith and Tyler Johnson. So there's a possibility they could make a move here. Not making a prediction, but it's kind of obvious. Tutu doesn't really fit this offense anymore. That's the way I see it. Tight end, same 3 guys, Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, and Hunter Long. So there's 14 players on offense. We haven't gotten to the offensive line yet, though. And at this point, I'm just going with the 5 starters plus Joseph Noteboom, the law firm of Jackson and Jackson, Avila, Havenstein, and Noteboom, the swing tackle, and swing guard, perhaps. I think they're going to carry at least 9. Those days of carrying 8, which they've done in the past, are long gone. After what happened a couple years ago, the Rams will carry 9 offensive linemen. I'm almost certain of that. And with Tanner Brown cut, our special teams are pretty much locked down. Alex Ward, Ethan Evans, and Joshua Carty. That is our long snapper, punter, and kicker, respectively. And you know what? The thing about Carty here is, have we done it again in the 6th round? Tyler Davis, Jordan Whittington, Bo Limmer, and Joshua Carty, 4 6th-round picks. And Les Snead may have nailed it like never before. Whittington and Davis already looked like solid starters. Bo Limmer looked promising, and Joshua Carty, well, remains to be seen, but I'm holding out hope. So we're up to 23 players, 20 on offense, and 3 special teamers. Let's take a look at the defense. So we got the 4 guys up front, Turner, Brown, Fisk, and Davis. I've had them there all along. There's a few guys fighting for another couple spots, possibly 3. We have edge rushers versus Young, Hoyt, and Jackson. And really competitive for a potential fifth edge rusher. Sixth, I doubt it.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Reporting live from under my blanket, I'm Susan Curtis with Dunkin' at Home. Breaking news, pumpkin spice iced and hot coffees are back. I'll pass it to Mr. Curtis with his blanket for the full story.
That is so right, Susan. You know, it's never too early to get in a spicy mood. I'm talking cinnamony goodness that's so tasty, people don't want to leave their blankets either. Back to you.
No, back to you.
All you.
The home with Dunkin' Pumpkin Spice is where you want to be.
And the inside linebackers, who I omitted completely last time I did this. I guess I think about inside linebacker as much as Les Snead does. So we have Ernest Jones, Christian Roseboom, and Troy Reeder. Why Troy Reeder? Maybe I'm overthinking this. Ernest Jones can't go. Ernest Jones is nursing a knee injury, and Troy Reeder doesn't play in the preseason opener. My deduction is they weren't sure about Jones at that time, hadn't got the medical report yet, so they said to themselves, we're not playing Reeder and risking him, and that tells me maybe he's a roster lock, and this is another one I could actually end up getting wrong. Fortunately, I only have one left pinky to lose, and Tutu Atwell and Stetson Bennett could already cost me that. So we're up to 34 players. Moving on to the secondary, I only have 6 guys. 6 roster locks, haven't added anybody. The cornerbacks, White, Williams, and Durant. Now, Williams is banged up, but he'll be on that 53-man roster. The safeties, Curl, Johnson, and Lake. And by the way, word on the street is Curl and Lake are tearing it up in those joint practices. Our secondary is going to be pretty good, folks. So we're up to 40 players. I have 40 roster locks at this point. 20 players on offense, 3 special teamers, and 17 on defense. Who are the guys on the cusp? Well, Jimmy G really isn't on the cusp. He's suspended, but he will eventually be on this roster. I already talked about Tyler Johnson and Xavier Smith. Both of them could bump Tutu Atwell off this roster, or maybe just one of them. Or maybe one of them is just an add to what we already have, and Atwell stays. Offensive line, I've already named 6. There's 4 guys, I think, leading the pack for potentially 3 more spots. It's Leviston, Limmer, Bruss, and a Curry. Leviston has to get on the field, though. He's been banged up. And along the defensive line, Corey Durden, Laurel Murchison, Deshaun Johnson, and the newly acquired Carlos Watkins, all fighting for roster spots. On the edge, if we add one more, I think it's going to be Nick Hampton, Keir Thomas, Zach Van Valkenburg, and O'Shawn Mathis may all have something to say about that. Inside linebacker, Jake Hummel has to have the inside track, but don't count out Fatukasi, Spates, and Neal. Would we add 2 of them, doubtful, but they are typically very good special teams players. Spates and Fatukasi appear to be made for that role, so we'll see. Defensive backs, kind of a good situation the Rams have, a nice problem to have. A lot of guys that I'd feel okay with all of these guys making the roster, but only 4 of them probably will. And they are Russ Yeast, Jerry Jacobs, Trey Tomlinson, Sean Jolly, Jalen McCullough, Charles Woods, Tanner Engel, and there's a couple other guys too I'm not mentioning. And this is where I think we're going to have the biggest surprise. I just sense it. I have a feeling there's going to be a surprise cut here. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So how do I think this all shakes out? I think the Rams are going to end up carrying 2 quarterbacks. I think they're going to add just the 1 wide receiver. So Atwell, Johnson, or Xavier Smith, one of them is not going to make this roster, I have a feeling. Offensive line, I think they're going to add 3 of those 4 I named. Offensive line, I think they'll add 3 of those guys. Bo Lemmer will probably be one of them. Logan Bruss, man, what a comeback that would be. Edge rusher, I think they'll add 1. That would be Nick Hampton. That's where I'd put my money. Inside linebacker, probably just 1. Jake Hummel, man, you know the coaching staff loves that guy, but Spates and Fatukasi are both very interesting, promising young prospects. And then the defensive backs, they'll add 4 of those guys. Man, throw their names up in the air and see where they land. I'd be happy with almost any 4 of them. Secondary has been the most confusing group, the most interesting group all summer long, and we still haven't figured it out. At least I haven't. So that's my look at the Rams roster here in mid-August between preseason games 1 and 2, my roster locks. And I'm going to have Paul Wally on. He wants to try to do a prediction of the 53-man roster. So we'll have him on to do that. And he'll have to include my 40 roster locks. That'll be a stipulation. Just kidding. We'll see what he comes up with. Maybe I'll do the same. We'll compare notes. There's a lot of ways we could do this. We'll do that in the next couple weeks outside of our regular roundtable. We'll be dropping a lot more vids on the YouTube channel as the season gets closer. So please visit the YouTube channel, subscribe, and like those videos. And by the way, our Ram Fan Rap session is starting to gather some steam. We've had Ernest Salgado from Mexico, John Perry from Washington, David Woolard from South Carolina, and Rich Schultz from Pennsylvania. And we have Ram fans from New York and Connecticut lined up. Got to find a Ram fan Missouri. There's got to be a few left over. And hey, I'll take a Ram fan from California, trying to hit every state. Send me an email. We'll get you on the show. It's a lot of fun. Talk about your memories as a Ram fan. It's a lot of fun. Let's get it done. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.